Here's a question where there is an algebra solution, which is probably faster, but prone to mistakes, and an SAT strategy solution that can help us get this answer even if we're super confused. So if you did the algebra solution and you got this question right, you're probably not watching this video, so I'm not going to bother repeating that. You've already got it. For the rest of you, though, I don't think the algebra solution is the way to go, right? If you got this wrong or you were confused and couldn't come up with the question or come up with the answer, you need that alternative way to go about this. And here's a case where if you're reading this question and you're confused, it's probably because there's so many numbers in the question, it's hard to figure out what to do. And that's why algebra can be tricky sometimes, is in order to make the equations, you need to take all the numbers and put them in the right places the first time. One number's out of place, the equation is wrong, the whole thing is wrong, right? So that can be tricky. What I'd rather do is work with one piece of this story at a time. And what lets me do that is the guess and check strategy. Because if I look at these answer choices, they are very specific about what these answer choices mean. So I can latch on to whatever that number means, and I can work through the story using that number, right? So if we look at the question itself, it tells us how to use these numbers, right? What is the maximum number of 120-pound packages that the helicopter can carry per trip? So first of all, I would start with choice D, right? I'm looking for the maximum number, so I should start with the maximum value, so that way I don't accidentally miss the answer. And I'm just going to assume that D is right. So 6. 6 what? 6 packages that weigh 120 pounds each. So I don't need to do much here. I can just multiply those two numbers together, right? How much weight do I have, right? That's kind of like the only thing that I would do with those two numbers. I have 6 packages. Each one weighs 120 pounds. Let's figure out how much weight we have. We've got the calculator to help us here. That's going to be 720 pounds, right? Now what else can we do? We've hit a little bit of a roadblock. Now we go back to the question and we say, well, what other information might I incorporate into this question? So it says a cargo helicopter delivers only 100-pound packages and 120-pound packages for each delivery trip. The helicopter must carry at least 10 packages, and the total weight of the packages can be at most 1,100 pounds. So that might be the thing to focus on, because that's a limit, right? 10 packages is important, but I could have 100 packages then, as long as it's below that limit of 1,100 pounds. So I'm going to take my 1,100, and I'm going to subtract that 720 from there, right? How much do I have left to keep my, helicopter? To keep the helicopter under that limit, right? So notice how each step so far has only involved 2 numbers. And those 2 numbers, we do something very basic, like in this case, subtraction before multiplication to get a new number, a new value. So I've got 380 pounds left. And if I have some 100-pound packages, I can see how many that is. Well, this math I can do in my head, that's only 3 packages. 3 packages times 100 pounds would only get me 300, right? I wouldn't even get to the 4th package because I can't. If I have 400 pounds of those packages, I'd be over my limit. That's not good. So I can only have 3 packages that weigh 100 pounds and stay under that limit. But if I have that, that's only 9 packages total. I'm supposed to have at least 10. So that doesn't work. So look, that seems like a lot of work to just find that an answer is wrong. But the best thing about guess and check is once we figured out what the work is, we can just repeat it for all the other choices. And so here I would just say, okay, D didn't work. Let's try C. So now we have 5. We follow the same process. 5 times 120, that's 600. 600 pounds for those 5 packages. And we know we still have 1,100 pounds that we can play with. So 1,100 minus 600 is 500 pounds left over. And 500-pound packages would get us exactly that number. So we can have a full 5 packages that weigh 100 pounds and still be under the limit or at the limit. And 5 packages that weigh 120 pounds and 5 packages that weigh 100 pounds is 10 total packages, which is exactly enough to still be on that helicopter. So C is the answer. And that's the good thing about guess and check, is usually you get lucky enough you're only checking 2 choices. But I think that this strategy gives us a way of solving this question when otherwise we are confused. You could create the equations. It would involve inequalities. Like, I'll show them to you. I don't think this is better. We would have, let's say these are x and these are y. So x plus y has to be at least 10, has to be greater than or equal to 10. And then 100x plus 120y has to be less than or equal to 1100. Those are your 2 equations. Looks scary, right? It's 2 equations, 2 variables, and we've got inequalities on top of it, right? That makes it pretty confusing. So yeah, you could figure it out. But I'm amazing at math. I get 800s on my math sections all the time. I've been doing this for a long time. And I get 800s because I don't take chances on algebra when I don't have to. I would guess and check this. I would be confused, and I would say, let me take the safer path and guess and check it, because that way I know I'm right, instead of having to deal with this other thing where if I mess up an equation, if I mess up algebra, I might not know it, and I might get a different answer and be totally confident in that answer because I can't see the mistake happen. With arithmetic, with numbers, I can see a mistake happen. I can multiply incorrectly and see that it's wrong. And so it's a little easier for me. I hope that was helpful. And generally speaking, it's why I believe that the strategies are good to be used even when there is an algebra way. Try to use the strategies, especially if you make careless mistakes. The strategies will help you prevent them, and I think it does that for me and for you.